no matter how you slice it, you got to figure out a way to fund deals. And a lot of people think cash or loans from the bank, from Wells Fargo, are the only way to fund your real estate deals, and this is not true. And so I haven't used bank funds since 2016, I think that is. I may have had a refinance in there somewhere. I haven't applied. I've never gone to Wells Fargo or the bank to get a loan in order to acquire a deal. Frankly, once you get into the real estate investing world, that concept of going and getting a bank loan in order to acquire a deal is like almost oxymoronical, meaning those two things don't come together. And the reason is really simple. In order to get a deal, you've got to have distress, because that's what makes it so that sellers are willing to sell for far below market value, and therefore that's a deal. In order for you to get a deal, there's got to be distress. They've got to sell quickly, or most often they've got to sell because they've got a house that has a lot of work to be done. It's been dated. It's 40 years old. I've never had any updates done to it. It needs carpet, paint, of course, but like might need windows. So sometimes we're buying houses without a kitchen. It won't lend on that. So the idea of going to the bank and saying, hey, I found a real estate deal, will you fund this? What you have to do is find alternative ways to fund your deals. Yes, cash, of course, that's the easiest way. A lot of people will go get a HELOC, a home equity line of credit, against their house and use those funds to acquire deals, but those are limited. You know, if you've got a $500,000 HELOC, you're limited at $500,000. You can only buy $500,000 worth of deals. And a lot of ways that people also will get into real estate deals, because funding those deals, is through what's called hard money. These are people who have cash or access to lines of credit. It's typically how it works. They've got a portfolio of rental properties, they put lines of credit against it, and now they're using the access to that capital to lend out money. Hard money loans, can range between 1.8%, which would be on the low side, to 5 points and 15%. A point is 1% of the loan of whatever you're about to borrow. So if you were to borrow $200,000, they would charge you a $2,000 origination. So if you got 5 points, that's 10 grand just to go get the loan. There's other ways to fund your deals, and that's through private finance, and really two methods inside of private finance. One is a loan where you turn a private lender, a private person, into a lender for you. They've got cash, they lend you the money, you go do deals, you just pay them like you would the bank. Typically those are interest-only loans, which are really nice for investors, depending on your strategy. And then the other way, which is my favorite, is called private equity. And so I run a private equity company that we take investor capital, put it into real estate investing deals, and we share in both the cash flow and the equity. And so if you're thinking you're trying to get into real estate and wanting to learn how to fund deals, I can help you with that. Whether that's, through connections to hard money, or some or helping you develop your own private money, private lenders, private equity, just send me a direct message, and I'll get you a link to some education that we've got out there that'll help you with understanding how to kind of raise that capital or utilize that capital. And don't rely on Bank of America to fund your deals. That would be really difficult, because most of the time they're just funding retail purchases, and a retail house by definition is not a deal. So if you want to start getting into deals, you're likely going to need access to capital, cash, and not just cash, but quick cash. And those before mentioned methods are the way to kind of utilize those to fund your deals. So direct message me, send me some information. I reply to all my DMs. I make sure that people are taken care of. And so if you want to learn how to fund your deals an alternative way, send me a message.